Dang it, Francis. On this week's episode of Cartoon Buffoons, I am Wyatt, and who is here with me today as always?
Hello, I'm Morgan, and I was Bobby Hill's sous chef at his old restaurant.
Ooh, both at King of the Hill, the intro jokes. But,
it's the studio. It's the studio.
Yeah, we're here to talk about a very new cartoon, Common Side Effects, for Adult Swim Month. Didn't this air within this year? Wasn't it like the very beginning of the year?
Yeah, it started in February. Yeah, like it started airing in February. So this is like the most recent thing we've ever talked about.
Yeah, because even Joe Pera that we just did, that started in 2018 and ended in 2021, which is still that's fairly recent, but that's.
But you can have a baby begin to talk and ambulate in that time.
In that time period, where it's this is maybe they're I don't know, they're 20 pounds instead of 8 pounds or whatever. Anyway, we're not talking about babies. We're talking about Common Side Effects. So this was an interesting one because obviously Adult Swim has a huge history of shows, iconic things like that. So us going from Joe Pera to immediately talk about this kind of new show, it's kind of an interesting swerve that we took, but it becomes more easy to understand once you watch the show because the show is really fucking good.
Super fucking good.
So have you seen Scavenger's Reign?
I have not, but after watching
neither.
all of this, me and Kathy are we're going to definitely watch it.
Yeah.
It seems pretty. I just, I don't know. I just have a hard time watching HBO originals when I'm, doing other things. Because usually when I go on HBO Max, I know exactly what I'm going to watch. So it's hard to, go to, pick something up that's new.
Oz.
You joke, but... Wait, I have it on DVD now. I don't even need HBO Max.
But, I've not seen it either. Obviously, I think... Brandon has talked about it, and other people have brought it up to me as how the hell have you seen? It's the Metroid show, and I'm I know.
Oh yeah,
I was depressed when it came out, so I just wasn't watching anything. So I will now though, because we're here to talk about we're talking about Common Side Effects, which is by a lot of the same people. Joseph Bennett, who's the lead creator. He's he's the guy that the art style of the show is based on. So if you go and look up his art, it looks very similar in style to the show. And I actually do have a connection to previous episode. There's a book that I bought from at the Joe Pera comedy show that I went to that was it's a book for when you're in the bathroom to get away from a party but you're not peeing or pooping or whatever.
Yeah,
something that. And then Joe Bennett did the art for that book, so I remember looking through it and being why does this look so familiar? And then realizing, oh my god, that's the fucking Common Side Effects guy. And then because I was watching the show at the time, because this is I had this realization a couple months ago, and Common Side this show. Is it's about conspiracy stuff. It's about drugs and psychedelia and
pharma and
in all of these things. I think it's a very interesting setup because a lot of this stuff, a lot of the things that it is talking about, can easily be construed as RFK Jr. insanity. But I don't.
It's almost the opposite. Yeah, it's the show could definitely lean into a lot of I think right wing shitty evil stuff, but it more so leads into the fucked upness of our reality instead of having to make a fucking big evil thing the government is secret. No. The government makes you pay to get well, and that's bad. Inherently, it's bad that the government profits off of you needing to heal. Which isn't a conspiracy theory. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Insulin costs too much. All this asthma medication you need to live, you have to pay hundreds of dollars for, because if you don't, you die, and they know that, so they make it expensive. The show the show doesn't need to craft a really wild conspiracy theory, it just kind of like exists. Like, no, this is just like the mystery isn't from what's the government secretly doing. It's very open and shut what the government doing in the first episode. The mystery is everything else, and I think that's like really cool.
The mystery is the true nature of the Blue Angel. Like that's to me, like that's what the ultimate mystery is. The Blue Angel being the mushroom that the show is focused on, and like whereas like the conspiracy is pretty straightforward. It's just, like there's that one guy, the I can't remember his name, but the Swedish guy that like dissuades Rick from like producing, going to like the production with the like synthetic version of the medicine by talking about how like society will crumble and all of these structures or whatever. And like we'll get into the characters later. I do think Rick is probably my favorite character.
He's
in the
so
show.
fucking stupid. He's so dumb.
Yeah,
but
he's like a totally realistic, like fuck boy executive guy. Like that's he's just like a perfectly real weird guy, and the way that he interacts and interfaces with all of this like crazy stuff feels really so good. like genuine. Whereas like there are other people that are a little bit more like again like there's a bit of the like government conspiracy angle. Also, if you've seen A Scanner Darkly, there's like a lot of elements.
Yeah, definitely. As you were saying, like about Jonas, like his whole deal when he was like, oh yeah, if we fix all the diseases, then everyone would go homeless because like we won't have the medical system to pay people. And like it's the most baseline. It's the lie that like Republicans and rich people have told us for years of like if everyone's okay, healthy, and good and fed, that means that society will fall apart. And it's like. It only works because Rick is stupid, but like it's such a good way of like looking to the show because you're following characters who don't know better. They go, wow, he's right, but like no, he's not right. Like it's like the show does such a good job of like having each character who's talking or being talked to at the moment absorb the thing as you're seeing as like a friend being like a universal truth. But once you go to another character, you go, no, that's wrong actually. And that's how it's like, that's how like it feels talking to people sometimes. Sometimes you are absorbing someone's point and you go, oh, this makes a lot of sense. And then once you like think for like a second, you go, wait, no, this is bullshit. You're bullshitting me, aren't you? Like, and that's like the thing that makes business like espionage shows so fun is that it is like a lot of those shows based around like guy bullshitting you. And I'll say that this, I'm not going to say it's the first because I'm not sure if I'm qualified to make that statement because there might be some show I'm missing, maybe like Shivering Truth or something like that. But this is like a modern example of a cartoon not going for an episodic comedy thing or even like an overarching sort of serialized like or semi-serialized thing. It's full on like prestige television style like storytelling, which is very interesting that this aired week to week and not just like on Netflix because it has sort of that Netflix structure of like big cliffhanger at the end. Marshall always fucking dies or something like crazy happens at the end of the episode. And like the I could see this have just been being dumped onto HBO Max and then just like never thought of again. But it ended up airing week to week. People were talking about it the whole time. The cartoon community was just obsessed. Also, just normal people too. People. I also think like I think it had to air week to week. So I don't know if people know this, but like HBO still airs week to week. They still do their shows like The Penguin air week to week. Like Succession did yada yada yada. This is definitely a closer contemporary to HBO originals than it is to other things. This show feels like what it felt like when I was watching Succession. This show feels like it would have felt like when I was watching Game of Thrones or Hot D and stuff like that. Like, so I think it fits so perfectly because like you have it air and then like HBO like originals such as like those shows I just mentioned also air on Sundays. So on Monday, if you catch it, Monday used to be my show like, oh, if I didn't catch the airing, I watch all of them on Monday. And this show fits in so perfectly with that. Like it perfectly slides in to like be one of those shows, but it's animated very well. We should probably talk about what the show's.
Yes.
Huh? We should probably talk about what the show's about. Yeah. So Common Side Effects is a show about a mushroom man named Marshall Cuso who discovers a mushroom that can cure anything. You could get shot, eat it, and your bullet wound will heal. You could have like extreme dementia. It will fix everything up. He finds it, and he goes to see one of his former lab partners and a friend of his, and she works for a pharmaceutical company. She wants information from it. A lot of other stuff happens. He's getting investigated by the DEA, the FBI, other mushroom people, and that's kind of just a setup.
Yeah,
I don't want to give anything else up because I think you should definitely watch it. But that's like the setup of the show.
I'm gonna try to veer away from full on spoilers, but there is some like thematic stuff that I
that we definitely need to talk about. Yeah,
that's important. So to me, like the first thing that really stood out when I saw it was the art style, because it, like obviously you can tell that it's the same artist who did Scavenger's Reign, but this has like a more striking art style because it has more of that like, the big heads, like kind of a chibi-esque. That's kind of like the wrong word because
but like it's like Bandera. It's like Bandera. Like Bandera is the one like doing like he definitely brought himself into the line of like. What Bandera Entertainment does.
Yeah,
with,
absolutely.
Yeah, like because like King of the Hill also has like a little bit of enlarged head. So Beavis and Butthead's extremely so.
I was gonna say it actually reminds me more of Beavis and Butthead artistically than it does King of the Hill, especially because King of the Hill, the like blocking and everything, like the actual camera work in the show is done to be as mundane as possible. Yeah. Whereas like this fully embraces it being like a very cinematic cartoon.
Yeah, this is directed like a motherfucker. Like this is great.
This is like this is like one of the best looking cartoons I've ever seen in my entire life. This is just so fucking beautiful looking. From like the backgrounds, holy shit. This is like one of those rare few shows where I'm just like, because a lot of times in the background it's like, oh, that's like interesting that it's designed this way or whatever. Maybe you can learn about a character or whatever. But this is like Makoto Shinkai levels of like beautifully detailed backgrounds and like amazing like, just like these very quiet scenes of just like lingering on characters and like just seeing like the background.
There's also like I found out that like a lot of the directors for this show also were directors on Scavenger Reign. Like
that makes sense.
Vincent Hsu was worked on Scavenger's Reign. Steve Buckley, sorry.
Yeah, like, I wonder if they either were developing it around the same time or if they went straight from Scavenger's Reign to this because
this definitely feels like
a crossover.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a creative like. Daibatsu, like Zaibatsu, like this feels like a group of people who create together. But what I was gonna say is like the background work when you're talking about it, they're like painted, and sometimes they'll have characters in the background who don't move because they're just painted into the scene, but it's not about them, so they don't need to move, and it's so beautiful. Sometimes they have like real historical paintings, and they've been repainted to fit the art style, so like the heads are bigger and they move bigger. And I remember seeing going like. Oh, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen.
That's so good. Yeah.
Also, so like the frame, like shout out Vincent again for the like episode 9. I don't want to get too much into it, but there's like a scene of like direction where like we see like a fly stuck in a spider's web as we're following one of our characters to a situation where they are very much in danger and can't perceive it.
And I'm like, Widow specifically.
Yeah, Black Widow. Yeah, and I'm like, this show's direction is fucking wild. Like, it's so good. I think if you want to make live action movies, check this fucking thing out for storyboarding and stuff like that. Like, it's insane.
This was one of those shows where I was getting emotional watching it because it just seems like the people making it are making exactly the thing that they want to make. Like, there's no compromise whatsoever. It feels like they are fucking doing it. They are just, like, going for it. And I mentioned, funny enough, because it was on my mind, this previously, like, when, we were talking before starting, we talked, like, for fucking hour about cartoons before we started recording. But like, it really does remind me of something like Mob Psycho, where that show, it's like, oh, that show only released the season every 3 years because the people making it were so passionate about what they were making and wanting to make it as like, is not just flashy and cool, but like capturing that spirit of the manga and like transferring it into like making it look visually beautiful without defeating the purpose of one's like storytelling and art style. They just cared so much about what they were making that they took their time, really, they didn't like put it through the fucking grinder. And that is just it just ended up being like one of my favorite animes ever. And not only thematically, like in that sense, does this remind me of that, visually too, like there is a lot of anime influence in the art style. A little bit of Mob Psycho, a lot of Akira. I would say like that is probably like the biggest, especially because it's dealing with a lot of the same like new age psychedelic elements that Akira is dealing with, including the idea of like not just psychedelics and like perceiving reality differently, but those things actually being able to affect reality in some way, and like
also
even, like gaining psychic powers and things like that.
Also, a lot of like and it's kind of like gauche to like bring him up, but Satoshi Kon also like in the way like stuff is like put together and animated in this, like I don't know. I was like, the story's really well written and engaging, right? But the visuals are also in a way that feels so rare for everything, not just cartoons.
No, absolutely.
Where I'm equally engaged by like what I want to see next as I am by like where the plot is going. Like I think, and I don't think this is a bad thing. I think sometimes a lot of things that I love falter in one of those places. A lot of things that I think are very beautiful to watch, though they don't need to have the deepest thing because the art project is like the visuals of it, right? But this feels like this feels like a perfect orchestra of like the writing team, the voice acting team, the directing team, the animation team. Everyone was like on P's and Q's of like, this is exactly what we want to put together. And I think like before we go further, I think this is the best show I've watched in a decade. Yeah. And I don't like full stop. And I don't think it's like particularly close.
Yeah.
Like I like and the thing is, it's only one season, so I can't like judge it because more will come. But like, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I watched all of this in one night. I rewatched all of it in one night. I can't remember the last time I was disengaged on something I'm watching for the first time in my entire life. Yeah. It was just so good and so well put together and directed and seen. And I don't know. It's also funny. Like it's not like funny. Like it's very much, you feel the Bandera Entertainment, why it fits so well with it, because it is funny the way a lot of those shows are funny.
There is like a King of the Hill style, like there's a lot of like awkward, very realistic conversations that people are having with one another. The dialogue is very naturalistic. They all feel like real people. I think, to me, one thing that really helps compared to some other past shows is the fact that since this is a modern show, they are allowed to just have characters say fuck and shit and whatever like on television very casually without it being like a huge censorship thing. And like I know that's a minor thing, but I'm still I guess because I grew up with that being so rare, I still am just like, oh my god, it's actually representative of reality. But yeah, like you said, like the visuals and like that kind of storytelling does so much to inform like the world and everything. Just as much as the writing does. And I think that it's like, that's what is just so beautiful about the show, is that it's like these things are in perfect concert with one another, and they're able to, like elevate it very high. Like I definitely like, while I'm not, I have to like think about that. Like as far as like, is this one? I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite cartoons of the past decade. And it's definitely my favorite show that has aired this year. Which is like maybe not a hard thing, because like not many new things are coming out. Stugo did come out this year. I fucking love that show.
Oh,
Don't get me
I
wrong.
also mean
Check
like
out that.
not just cartoons. I mean
No,
like
that's what
as
I'm
someone
saying.
Who,
is like,
as someone who watches like a lot of television and a lot of TV stuff and drama shows, this kills it. Like, and I don't know, like, you know what? The Pit's really good too. I'm gonna be watching that soon. Maybe the Pit can hang. I do think the Pit can hang, but just like seeing this and also hell, the Pit that's on HBO. HBO like has its issues. Max has its issues. But also, it's nice that, like, even after being bought, they're still able to put out work. It's nice they're able to put out, like, really fire stuff. I don't think, like, I think since Twin Peaks, I haven't been, like, so enamored in where something was going mystery-wise.
And there is, like, a Twin Peaks quality to this. A lot of reoccurring locations and characters and whatever. It's not just, like, a constant driving narrative where we're moving from one place to another. You know, there's a lot of, like... In the first season, like it ends up coming back to a certain place, and like Marshall, I think, exactly. But Marshall himself, like I think that he's like a very compelling protagonist because you can tell that he's had an insane life up to this point.
Yeah,
you know, the fact that he has like so much money and he has like, you know, like he's done all this drug stuff for his entire life and is like so interested in like drugs and pharmaceuticals and things like that, and like has like such a distrust. Like he feels like it could have easily been like, oh, he's just the simple mouthpiece of like the thoughts and opinions of the people making the show, but a lot of the times he is like off base, he is wrong, he's too impulsive, or like he has too reactionary, you know. And like even though like I agree with his anger towards Francis for selling them out and giving the mushroom to Rick, like,
he had a point. He didn't have a plan. Like I think like the show's really good at like showing like, hey, Marshall is correct and his heart's in the right place, but also he doesn't have a plan. And something like this, you do need a plan for. And I think like that's like, I also think Marshall is too trusting, but he's trusting because he's a good person, and that's not his fault. I will never fault someone for being like a good person who trusts his people around him. You know, that's not a flaw. That's a gift. That's a quality that's great in a person. You're a good person. People betray you.
And
I guess
feels
Marshall
sad or stressed out when he is like when he's in prison and he's like very distrusting. He's always like looking, you know, there's like a moment where he's in the library and he's reading, and then like he hears somebody coming around the corner. He like picks up the pencil because he's like, fuck, I might need to fight for my life, because he already just dealt with somebody coming in and trying to kill him.
To fucking kill him,
so it's like it is like, that's really sad and tragic to see a character like him that is like remains this sort of like optimism for his fellow person, and I think that's why he was so hurt by like feeling betrayed by Francis. But then that's also why he was able to understand that when, like, again, not to get into too much spoilers, but like by the end of the season he's able to sort of like come to a middle ground. Not necessarily it's I don't know, but the like not necessarily a middle ground of like, let's work with this company. Things develop away from that.
He wants to like figure out what to do. I do want to like, so we're talking about him a little bit. This Marshall is our main character. We follow him. He is like a mushroom guy. He found the blue angel mushroom. He is voiced by Dave King, who does such a excellent job in portraying this character. Marshall feels like a guy, you know, in a really, really cool way. Dave King, also, this is one of those rare shows where a lot of the like voice acting cast are creatives who write or direct or make television shows. Dave King is a writer from Parks and Recs, and also I don't know if you've seen it, but like The English Teacher, like the show with the gay guy. That's so reductive. Why the fuck did I say it like that? But you know what I mean. Marshall feels like someone, you know. We were watching it. Kathy said Marshall reminds me of Wyatt, actually, which was very funny. And not because, like, you know, white guy beard. That's not why. But, like, Kenny says because Marshall is, like, trying to do his best and wants to do the best out there, but is overall maybe too trusting and too well-assuming. Which is something I literally said to you before we started recording. Is that sometimes you assume the best out of people too often. But like
That's
I don't know.
true.
It's been a long time since I watched a show where I want to root for someone as much as I do Marshall. Because he really does just want to make the world a better place, which is a hard fucking thing to do, but I think he can do it. Like,
yeah, and I'm like very like I felt weirdly immediately compelled by him and Francis, like their relationship, like not necessarily even in a romantic sense, even though it does like it's clearly
it gets
developing
the vibe,
towards that. But just because like I think in a lot of these cases, the like guy who meets up with like his crush from high school or whatever, it's very like from the perspective of the guy, and it's like voyeuristic. I think that like to me, like I just am not a fan of romance or anything like that that's too one-sided. Like it's too much like just
I
in
agree.
the perspective of one person. I prefer getting multi perspectives. So like I like seeing how him kind of entering Francis's life kind of like confuses her feelings, and we linger on that way more than we ever do. I mean, they definitely still show it with Marshall, but like Francis, it's the way that it upsets her life is way more profound because she's part of this, system, and she ends up like peeling back the layers and kind of like doubling down into it, and things like that. Like there's a lot of like dynamic qualities to her character that make her a very engaging character. Just like see how she develops, and she just feels very like down to earth, and again, like she also feels like somebody that is just like part of a cog in the machine, but is otherwise like kind of like wants to do their best, but then also wants to be like absolved of any fault of their like hands getting dirtied by being a part of like a bad system, which I'm sure a lot of people feel because there's a lot of people that work at like fucking call centers, where they're like hounding people for like insurance information or whatever, and it's like I need to do this because it's my job, but it's like kind of a shitty thing to do, but maybe it's like maybe I can justify that it's the people's fault and not my fault that they have to go through this. And then we should talk about what I feel like are the two breakout characters that I've seen people constantly talk about whenever they talk about the show for good reason, and that would be
work. So
yeah.
Dude, I think I've never had like an opening scene between two characters that made me go, oh, these guys are friends. Mm-hmm. It's so nice to see like a real ass fucking friendship on television. We're talking about Agent Capano and Harrington. They are two DEA agents who are also, it's like Capano's like an older divorced black guy who's super funny, and Harrington is a still slightly older lesbian white woman, and these two are like platonic soulmates, and how they behave, it's so good.
It's such an awesome relationship that is so rare to see in television and media in general, of just like these people that are like soul bonded, but there's like absolutely there's not even, it's like, I don't know, it just like crosses gender barriers and racial barriers and everything like that. It's just like a beautiful like friendship that they have. You immediately like see it, and it's like, yeah, they start like as like the feds and everything, so like you're kind of distrusting of them, but you're also like, oh man, these guys are so like fun and compelling as characters. And Capano, I would say, is probably my second favorite character next to Rick, just because like the way that he is like peeling at the conspiracy and like he gets like hung up on it and everything, like I don't know, that's just like very engaging. Like it's clear that he has like maybe he's only interested in it because there's sort of this like slump in his life, or like a void or whatever, but like
because he's obviously like going through a divorce or something based on like his home life and stuff like that. But it also feels like there's like a morality thing happening. Like I don't think Harrington's inherently wrong, right?
No.
But she definitely wants to do her job and get out. And he is like so serious about like, no, there's something bigger happening here. We can't just let this go. And I think it's really neat. I think this show has something so interesting to say about police officers and the government, because like he is seen as like the good cop, but it only after he stops being a cop, which is one of my favorite tropes of someone going, oh yeah, how to be a good cop, quit. And I think that's like always my favorite thing in something.
Yeah.
And like it's honestly kind of like it, like they're the heart of the show because like they are like a good friendship and stuff like that. Like you see like you they don't ever sit you down and tell you how they met or anything, but you don't need to. Like so like my favorite scene of like just setting character stuff up is they meet up like this and they both have coffee and they're like, it's Thursday. Like he says, it's Thursday. What are you doing, Harry? Harry's like, it's Thursday. He goes, oh shit. Thursday's your day, isn't it? Yeah. And they just hand each other a coffee so they each have two because they know the other one's order. And I'm like, this is like the friendship of all time.
Yeah. But yeah, the like Martha Kelly, who does Harrington, is such a good voice actor. Her voice is like so perfect for that character. She was also the main character in Carol at the End of the World.
Yes. Another very good, slow, like little bit of a deadpanish vibe to it. Yeah.
That's a show that made me cry like fucking crazy when I at certain episodes when I watched it. Just very good show overall. Check that out on Netflix if you haven't seen it. But like I don't know, she like as soon as I heard her, I was like, oh, that's like the perfect voice for this type of character. And then like just seeing their relationship develop and seeing or maybe not develop, but like getting to get peeks into how deep it is. And I posted about it when I was like rewatching the episode, but there's like the scene where they've been like separated, and then she still like comes to visit him, and like she mentions like, oh, why not take a vacation to beautiful Syracuse, New York? And I'm like, I know that place. I go there. I go there so often. It's a terrible city, but that's the whatever. But it just made me laugh quite a bit seeing that, and then just like just seeing their like how much they know each other and how much they clearly
care
love
about
each other.
Yeah,
and they even say like I love you in a platonic way at certain points, and I'm just like, yes, more of this. Just like I just like people earnestly expressing how much somebody means to them.
That's a friend,
regardless if it's romantic or friendship or anything like that. I just think that's like so rare, even in shows that have like romance arcs. It's like very hard to get to the point of like a character just saying like I love you. That's just so it's just so good to see that, just makes me feel nice.
I also think like the show does such a great thing of very early confirming that Harrington's a lesbian. Just like they like show you like this, hey, I just wanted to be clear. These two are friends.
Yes.
Like, and like I hate it and stuff when they're friends, they don't remember it. But no, they're just like this. No, these guys are like best friends. Like he was married, she is like not interested in men. I want to make it clear so you know that these two are fucking best friends, and like that's where they love each other. Like their love goes deeper from like that kind of standpoint. And I'm like, that's really cool and great. This show actually has like so much good work when it comes to relationships and like what they mean across the board. Because, like, we do have Marshall and Francis, like you talked about earlier, and their romantic relationship, like, developing and blooming and stuff like that. But also, you then have Capano and Harrington. You also have Rick, who we're going to get into in a second, and Francis. It's very easy to write him off as a shithead boss, but there's definitely more to him,
Yeah, I think so, yeah. That's why I think he's so fucking compelling, is that he's just, like, he's a very normal guy. Like, he's just, like, or... maybe not normal because he's like a rich guy, but like he doesn't seem like he's like this criminal manipulator mastermind that's like working all this stuff behind the scenes. He's just sort of playing the game as he sees fit. Like whatever opportunities that come in front of him, he's like, okay, I guess I'll do this. And so seeing the machinations turn in his head, and as he like learns about this thing, and even to the extent where like he doesn't become like, oh my god, we can rule the fucking world or whatever. He just sort of has like, oh my god, we can really like make a difference. And I was like, dude, Cook, when there was the scene where he was talking with Jonas, as basically his boss or like his higher up, and he mentions that like, oh, the world will crumble, like the society and the structures that we have set in place will crumble if we have this thing. And he's like, maybe that should happen. Yeah. And I'm like, god damn, like, yeah, that's like, I know he's saying that maybe to an extent for like self-serving reasons, but
no, but like he's still right. He's still like,
yeah,
there's still like a like human part of him that's like, dude, we can't figure out, like, even if he wants to make money, we can't figure out the cure to everything and then go, nope, we can't put it out there because what if executives lose money? Yeah. Like, I don't know. There's something so hopeful, and even, like, there's a lot of sadness in the show about, like, some people want to benefit off of it, right? But there is hopefulness that even the most money-hungry people you meet are still like, guys, we should probably still get this out there somehow. Like, we should probably, like, even if we're, like, making people pay for it as evil, it's less evil than just destroying it straight up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like suppressing it and all that stuff just to like create a false system of like tricking people into thinking that they're getting the medicine that they need when like what they need, and obviously like there are side effects to the Blue Angel that we'll I'll talk about in a bit, like when we're wrapping up, but like yeah, it's like he's just such a great character, and like you said, his like to me one of his best parts is just how his relationship with Frances, because it's clear that he really cares about her. She's not just like an underling or like a a secretary or anything like that. He is like, oh, you're my partner to a degree. It's not to the same extent as Capano and Harrington where it's like this equal.
No.
Like that's the problem, is that there's this power dynamic that exists between them, but it's clear that he does care for her. And again, not necessarily in a romantic way, but just in a like, oh, you're sort of my like second in command. You're my
you're her like his saving grace when it comes to business. Because like you see it a few times, like when they go to a funeral and he shows up, and she was obviously not expecting him to show up.
Yeah.
I also think like Rick is an idiot in the funniest way possible. I think the reveal of what his business turns into at the end of the show is maybe the funniest I've laughed in a show.
Yeah.
This is the one where I give. He decides to like pivot from pharmaceuticals to seasoning. Like, oh, it's like a Cool Ranch Dorito, but like with a minty hit at the end. It's spicy and sweet, and I was like in tears. He's also voiced by Mike Judge of Everything fame, who is doing
fucking
like I know people go like, oh, he has one voice, guys. I think he's murdering this like funny, like this like shithead version of Hank Hill. It's making me cry laughing when he has any scene.
Yeah, he's just such a fascinating character. Like he's just such a fascinating and real guy, and like Mike Judge just really like brings such a like kind of pathetic energy. There's a moment towards I think it's in the final episode where he's like just calling Frances over and over again. That's just so sad. Because you're like, you kind of want them to like continue to be like friends or partners or whatever in a weird fucked up sense, but you understand Frances's perspective of like being disgusted with having to
the business that she's doing,
like to price gouge people for this thing, and like at a similar thing is like happening with Marshall at the same time. And I just think it's very interesting how much Frances, a lot of her arc of like change comes from she's been stuck in this rut. She has like a not a bad guy as a boyfriend, but a very like inconsiderate,
like
kind of
loser
clueless guy.
He does VR fishing all day, so he's kind of
and like so he's like not like a cruel or mean boyfriend, but he's just like not a very like dependable or like I don't know. And there's something about him where he doesn't prioritize their relationship, and the times when he does try to like make up for it just feel very forced, and like it's almost manipulative in a sense of like, I'm doing this nice thing for you, so forgive me. So she's in this position where she has like these weird man children in her life of Nick and Rick, funny enough, and like they are these guys that are like kind of like just taking advantage of her goodwill, And even though, like, again, like, they're not necessarily malicious in what they're doing, they just exist within these, like, structures that they've just accepted. Like, their life is very structured a certain way. You know, she's the girlfriend, he's the boyfriend. This boyfriend acts this certain way. Your boss acts this certain way. This is just how it is. So when this weird guy just shows up with his open shirt and his, like, you know, like, psychedelic conspiracy theorizing and things like that, and, like, talking about, like, these interesting fringe ideas, it sort of shatters her perception of reality. The whole show is about perception in both a, like, metaphorical and literal way. And it definitely, like, starts to become clear that that's where they're going by the end of the season. So
yeah,
I think that's to me, like, what makes all of those things work, even though, like, a lot of Frances's character involves, like, the men in her life. It's always centered on her, and Marshall is able to meet her in the middle, and that's why she finds him so attractive. You know, and then, like, vice versa, like, Marshall is like, oh, this is somebody who exists within the realm of normal society that isn't just treating him like a crank. Because you meet all of the people in his circle, like his brother and Hildy and characters like that, and you're like, and these people are kind of fucking crazy. Like, they are. Yeah.
Like, finding out that Marshall's the most normal motherfucker when it comes to mushrooms is so unsurprising. But also, I think it's also cruel. I think, like, it's Frances and Marshall have such a nice dichotomy where Frances is, like, walked over in a business sense and also in her romantic relationship. Like, it just kind of, like you said, it's like the way things are set up and behaves, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, we go forward with it like that. But also, Marshall is walked over by his colleagues, you know? Yeah. Like, it's funny. Like, Hildy's a great example. She's always telling him, I discovered this. I was your teacher. I taught you all of this. But he's so obviously moved beyond what she has taught him. So, like, who gives a fuck what you taught him? Like, he's already moved beyond, has done so much more. So, like, you're not, like, his boss. Like, yeah, you're his teacher and he was your student. But he kept going. And it's such a shitty way that, like, everyone talks down to him. That it really pisses me off sometimes. Also, shout out Hildy for being voiced by Sue Rose, who is known for, like, making a bunch of television shows, such as, I don't know if you guys have heard of this one, Pepper Ann. Like,
and if you're like us and have watched the
Digimon movie, I knew you were gonna go there.
And you're like, her voice kind of sounds familiar. Well,
yeah, it's she Angela is in Anaconda Man.
Yeah, she is in fact Angela Anaconda herself. So.
Yeah. It just, but like, it's just, I don't know. The show is so good, and I really don't want to spoil it. I think everyone should watch the show.
Oh my God. Oh, Alan Resnick is Marshall's brother. That makes perfect sense. He's like,
yeah.
Do you know, like, Wham City and all those people? Like, do you know, like, This House Has People in It? And
yes.
Oh, and what is it? Unedited Footage of a Bear, which is also it's like about this same kind of stuff, like the pharmaceutical companies and, like, criticizing that. I think I think like having so many people who've, like, written or worked or directed shows as the, like, voice cast is just such a neat thing to do. I think it's just really cool and such a neat thing to have happening in your show. I don't know. It's just, fuck, man. Yeah.
Fuck. I can't even begin to express how good this show is and, like, how fun it was to watch and how funny it is and also heartfelt and thoughtful and gory sometimes.
It's, like, really fucked up. There's some, like, really, like, the finale has, like, one specific sequence that's, like, fucking horrific. Like, it's just, like, one of the most, like, oh my God, like, existentially terrifying things that I've seen. And, like, it kind of, like, leads into, like, kind of what I want to talk about, where, like, I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but it becomes kind of clear that the way that the Blue Angel works is that, like a mycelium network, it's connecting people's minds
to
one another into some background layer of reality, you know, in which they are all connected. So there are people that otherwise have not seen each other or haven't interacted that can like perceive each other because their brains or their bodies are being like integrated into
the mushroom.
This. And it's like, that's like so freaky, but also so cool.
It's such a like cool sci-fi, almost Twilight Zone type deal. I think also the way it's foreshadowed, and like this is a slight spoiler, is like whenever Francis is watching one of Marshall's videos on mushrooms, it's always the same line he says, which is like, yeah, mushrooms can feel people in the colony. They can understand when someone needs water or energy or sugar, and it's so good. It's so good. Like because I was like repeating that line at the end of that show. I was like, oh, that's what's happening. Like, and also it doesn't even like give you all the like mystery. Like there's season 2. I'm like, I might have a notebook out trying to figure out what the big thing is that's happening here. Because it's definitely more than just that. Like, what do the babies mean? What an insane sentence to say. But yeah, what do the little babies mean? You know, why do they just like burst into like these little colorful things? What's going on here? Like, I can't remember the last time I was this engaged in like the overarching plot of something like this. Ugh.
Yeah, and just in the first season, and it feels like it's leading, like where it's leading is like so interesting that I have faith that it's not just gonna like shit the bed. No. And that they can, you know, like get it to somewhere. And I'm so fucking glad that they like very quickly were like, yes, this got a second season. Because like if we just had this, it would have been sad to not get like a proper conclusion. But it's so good that I'm just like, yeah, that's fine.
No, yeah, because like if it's so good and solid, I'm like, yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I want it really bad. Don't get that wrong. I want it super fucking bad. But like I would have been like, all right, I'll deal with it. Like, you know?
Yeah. Also, it's just like with Joe Pera, where it's like, oh, they had plans for season 4. You know, they were kind of like, you know, building to something with season 3, and they didn't get to like fully complete that. But what we did get ended up being like a very appropriate ending for the show. And yeah, I felt very much the same with this, like the final episode, like the final 2 episodes in general, just like so good. And the there's like a montage at the end of episode 9 before like the you know, the ending part where things set up for the next episode, that I was just like I was like, fuck yeah, this is like getting like so hyped up for what's going on. It's just like so well edited to the music and everything that it's just like, man, you just, again, like I was getting emotional because the people making the show on every level, even something as simple as like, you know, the editing choices, or maybe not simple, but something that you wouldn't think about, like the editing was just like so good that it's clear like how much they care about what they're making.
Nothing felt like a secondary thought. It all felt so measured. And I don't know, it's just, I think everyone on Earth needed this that likes cartoons.
Yeah.
It's been a rough few years. Like it's just like the fact that this did and will continue to be made is just, you know, for every Uzumaki there is one of these, and I'm like, yay! Like.
Yeah, and all the shows that get one season and canceled and all this stuff, you know, and like the constant fucking reboots and revivals and whatever, and then basically all of Cartoon Network, you know, the network that we're doing this podcast about, are just caught in this constant loop of, you know, in the past few years of just doing like, oh, let's just revive the shows from when we were popular. So let's more Adventure Time, more regular show, more Steven Universe, more Gumball, you know, and it's just like, I fucking saw those shows, right? Like, I don't need more. And then they're all like, because the network is just in such disarray, they're like, oh, we can't air them there. This has to be on HBO Max, and this has to be on Amazon Video, and this has to be on Hulu.
Yeah,
it's like, what the fuck? Let's come on, get it together.
So like, it's nice when like there's something like this that like works and pushes up.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I know how executives work. I know they're all stupid scum of the earth who should be redacted. But like, I hoping that because the show has been nominated, and that I really hope it pulls it out. Listen, I know, dear dykes out there, my fellow lesbians, whatever, Arcane can choke. I'm so sorry. Right. I had a fine time with Arcane. Arcane can choke. This needs the W. Let's get a W for fucking common side effects. And maybe like David Zaslav and his evil Skeletor style castle where he's like burning orphans for heat in the winter will go, maybe we should give money to the animation. Maybe. Yes. Maybe he'll do it if he gets like a little award on his table. Like,
yeah, and like I feel like it, we've talked about before, Adult Swim is like the thing that's keeping the network really alive, and there's a lot of good stuff that's on Adult Swim. There's Smiling Friends, Superman, like a lot of like ongoing shows that people like are on Adult Swim. Rick and Morty, of course, is continuing to go. People do like the most recent season of Rick and Morty, which is good because it's all right. Like
it's all right. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, there was people that were like, Rick and Morty is fucking garbage now or whatever. But like every single time a new season of Rick and Morty airs, people are like, yeah, this actually is pretty good. like even though like between seasons people hate Rick and Morty, but then when it's airing, they're like, yeah, this is pretty good. So like, and obviously I think that I don't want to pit two kings against each other necessarily, but like as far as like the types of shows that I want to see, like I would rather see more common side effects than more Rick and Morty's, and I'd rather see more Smiling Friends than things that like other kind of adult comedies. Again, like adult animation is so shallow because it's just like these sitcom shows or
a Family Guy clone, or like YouTube
or like Castlevania, like the Castlevania show or whatever. Like those are the two times like anime action, blood and violence, Castlevania, Devil May Cry, whatever, like those kind of shows, or the adult comedy thing. They getting this kind of thing where it's like, oh, it can be
a dramedy.
It's also like a dramedy show, like a real fucking show, like a real television show that was created by people that like want to create a compelling story that like lasts in our minds, and
can I just say, unrelated, right? Mm-hmm. Me being on the Andy Shankar hate train for so long, and everyone realizing I was right, dude. Oh my god. I mean, we
were back all the way back when Power /
Ranger came out. Yeah, we
were like, the fuck is this guy?
Dude, we hated Castlevania.
Yeah.
So like we were like on the train for decades. Like feel like it's like this. No, I think it's really good. I think the Devil May Cry show is gonna be good. Did you guys not hear the opening? Oh wait. You mean the Limp Bizkit opening? So you think the show's going to be good because Limp Bizkit did the opening? Question. Question. When you go outside and like you go to like a McDonald's and you see a Sprite remix machine, do you get scared? Like do you like when you see like a Coke like freestyle machine, do you get like terrified? Because like this is like the most advanced science you've ever seen. Are you dumb? Like I can't believe like the fact that like just a little bit of new metal is enough to make people go, I think this show will be well written. Is crazy. It
reminds me of when I was 11 years old. Great,
dude.
That's
that's
like,
that's
look,
Andy's
dude,
whole thing.
You know what I liked when I was fucking 11? Playing Devil May Cry 3, the game. I don't need it to be a fucking television show. That's nothing like the game.
Like it's I don't know. It's just so funny. Like it's good to have like a show for like adults really, and not like a show for like adults derogatory in your basement. Going online and telling someone to kill themselves.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. What I was saying earlier about like, oh, I'm glad that the characters say fuck. They're never gratuitous about it. It's just very casual. Like that's why I think it's like realistic. It's not like I think the Castlevania show very bad first impression, because you just have like a scene where it's people in a bar talking about fucking goats, and it's like wow. Remember when like you would throw an axe in the air and it would hit a skeleton? Like, do you remember that? That's like Castlevania. Like, do you remember? You remember like throwing a cross and it's a boomerang and it does holy damage to the like. I feel like we're at two different. I'm like, this is not at all what I find appealing about
Castlevania. It's the most like someone who saw the trailer for 3 on G4 thinking they know what the game is versus like actually knowing what the game is. It's so unbelievably whack.
Yeah, but it's common side effects though, like you said. Like it's just like absolutely amazing as far as on like every single level, a triumph of animation and everything. And like I could easily see it being my favorite show of the year just overall, especially because I do need to check out some other stuff like the Rehearsal season 2 and everything.
Insane. What an insane season 2. The Rehearsal is really good. HBO does have a lot of good. Rehearsal is really good. I think that Nathan Fielder should maybe be killed. I think he's like super
That's
funny.
That's what I hear is that he needs to be put in jail.
we need to like put him in like a super villain jail where like there's like big manacles on his wrist tied to the ground and like we have like a Hannibal Lecter thing on his mouth because I think he is like I posted about it. He reminds me of a hunter from Hunter x Hunter, which is not a compliment. It's not a compliment at all.
I remember you saying that like him and Joe Paris like Leorio and Pariston and they,
he would I said he was like Ging. I think he's like Ging.
Yeah.
He would do so good during the Hunter election, and that's not a compliment if you read that arc. It's not a compliment. Hunters are fucked up. And he'd be like, no, it's fine. Here's my net ability. It's called the Rehearsal. I'm able to perfectly recreate what we would be doing and then prepare myself for it. Also, let me just say, him making the Rehearsal season 2, I want you to have this information when you go into it. He was going through a divorce.
Okay.
Let that flavor everything he was doing in that fucking show. Like,
there's something like, I know that's a sad thing and a bad thing to be going through, but also like,
it makes it funnier.
I was gonna say, it's just so funny, the idea that somebody is like channeling their darkness into the show.
He gets breastfed on it by a giant recreation of a mother, like a no joke, like a 15-foot tall puppet of a mother, and he's dressed as a baby and he gets breastfed. Like it's like being in hell, Wyatt. It's like being in hell. Like it's really good television, but it's like being in hell. Like,
but all right, I think that'll do it. What a good show.
What a fantastic show. Watch Common Side Effects.
Yeah. And I think it's time. I think we got to do something old school. So, and we've been talking about it. We've been dancing around it. We just got to do it. We got to do home movies as our final episode.
Let's go!
For the Adult Swim month. So
no, Brendan, listen, look. Sometimes, Brendan, you get old and you start a podcast, and it's called, Cartoon Buffoons, and
this is one of those shows where I might watch the whole thing. Like I honestly might just put it on in the background and just watch all of home movies.
I watched the whole thing like a few months ago, and I literally, when I finished it, put the Clarence crossover episode on.
Yeah,
because I wanted
like, the real package. His what is it? His camera breaks, and then 30 years later,
he just works at a shitty video store like this. Yeah, no, that movie's bad. Like, oh, it's so good. Just like, man, home movies. I can't wait to talk about it. Maybe one of the funniest shows. A feat of improv comedy.
Yes. There is Louis C.K. in it, which is bad, but we can talk about that when we get to it.
He's not in that much though. So.
Yeah. It's not, and this was obviously long before the allegations. So and this was before he really had like any. I mean, we'll talk about it when we are talking about.
I am excited to talk about specifically when we talk about next week. The best home movies character, which is fucking Shannon. No one talks about Shannon enough, and I'm going to be on the hill about why Shannon is the funniest bully in television history.
Yeah. But yes, that will do it for this episode. Morgan, where can we find you on the internet?
Oh my God, you can find me at Girl Next Vor on Tumblr and Blue Sky. I'm mostly posting jack und shit nonsense. Just nothing but shit and nonsense. I am Yeah, also posting some art. I've been drawing Pokemon again because I am bored and I haven't been feeling good because I'm still very sick. So when I'm sick, I draw Pokemon. Anyone who knows me knows that is just the truth.
Yep.
Find me on Blue Sky. Please hurry up because I have heard that they have a drug that will fix everything, and Blue Sky would turn into like a ravaged wasteland where people are fighting to kill, no longer to harm. Yeah. Wyatt, where can we find you?
I'll say that like that cutaway scene when we see like Rick's imagined version of like that like Mad Max waste, like whatever, like that the like drug cartels destroying the cities and things like that. It looked so good. Like it looks so really good. Beautiful. Like the camera turn and everything. Anyway, again, the show is just like amazing. Like how expertly crafted it is in every way. But and this is fucking proof, by the way, that you can have a show that's like writer led and it's still visually like amazing. So all the fucking people that are like, oh, this thing is like, you know, this is writer's show, this is writer speak, whatever, they can go fuck themselves.
What an insane
you have
to
this
say.
show that is like, wow, the writing is not even the best part of it. It's just like one of the many amazing parts of this whole package.
Saying like, man, why does the show? You could tell the writers feel when they write the show. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry that the human condition flavors how I make my art.
Yeah.
Die.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry that we're not just making exactly Ren and Stimpy.
Dude,
over and
my
over
bad.
Again until the fucking end of time.
Do you want to see Goku as fight baby Vegeta for 4 hours? Is that what you want? You know, shake a little fucking rat on front of your face, you dumb bastard.
I hated that when I watched their GT recently. I was like, oh my god, just let this end. But
we should be okay feeling superior to people like that. I think everyone out there, you have my permission.
I think we are morally and ethically superior.
Yeah. When I take over,
genetically superior.
All right. Oh, whoa! You can't say that, white baby. Yeah. You can't be saying that, white baby. Let's chill out. You can't say that, Wyatt. Come on. I can say that, but
yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. But we got me. On Twitter, Blue Sky, Wasp Ranger, WAZP Ranger. Mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do post about podcasts I'm doing and videos I'm making. I've been making a bunch for my Metroid channel, which is Planet Zebez. Go over there. Check it out if you want to see insane ramblings. I actually did make a video fairly recently about the Edicoons, which are the little monkey guys from Metroid that have like... It gave me like the little... white little baby things in this show gave me big vibes to those guys because there's just this weird like background element of that game series where you like at first you don't think about it and then the more you see it, it's like, what the fuck is up with these things? Like what is their true nature or whatever? And I just made like a game theory. Yeah,
you were definitely having a gas leak in your apartment. Like there's definitely a gas leak in your apartment.
Yeah.
When you made that video.
It's a pretty ridiculous video that I made. But yeah, so check that out. And then my main channel, of course, if you're watching this on It's Only Magic, thank you. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can get the next episode, which is Home Movies, right now, $3, bam. Also, It's Only Magic on Patreon. If you only got $1, that's fine. You still get Wow Cool Robot, which is me and my friend Wayne going through every single robot in existence. I do have a new batch of episodes to upload, so I got to get around to that. They'll probably be uploading a little bit before this episode comes out. But yeah, that will do it. That fucking amazing show again. Just really can't oversell it. And join us next time as we talk about one of our favorites, old classic shows that's like almost the exact opposite in terms of quality as far as animation and writing goes, because it's mostly improv, is Home Movies. So see you there.
Goodbye.